Hi, it's David here from the Wargaming Parrot. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about how to train your parrot to step up. It's a really important technique to train, as it means you can extract your bird from a dangerous situation, you can call to them and make sure they come on to you when you need them to. It's also great for the birds as it builds bonds with you and improves trust. We're going to be talking about all the different techniques you can use to train your bird to do this and going through each one in turn so you can see which one's best for you. Now I'm going to assume you watched my last video on how to bond with your parrot, because there's lots of techniques about how to get your bird used to your hands. If not, I will leave a link in the description and put up a card for you to peek at. If you have, great, because you're ready to move on to these steps. Before I begin showing you the techniques, I just wanted to make sure that you're aware that when you're training your bird to step up, that you keep your cues consistent. That means holding your hand in the same way. For example, for our birds, I just do that, and saying the same command. For example, step up or come on, something like that. Just something that's consistent and you keep it the same every single time. So much like the technique inside the cage, this one involves you putting your hand perfectly still and flat on top of the cage. So you put your hand on the cage, you give them a treat, and you wait for them to come over. You see the chip's quite eager on his steps. Just keep your hand perfectly flat and just let them have the treat. And just let them be used to being on your hand. And this is one of the very first sort of steps to getting them to step up regularly outside the cage. If you're nervous about your parrot biting you, or your parrot's a rescue or very large, or your parrot just has a problem with hands, a great first way to introduce them to stepping up is stepping up onto a branch rather than your hand. It gives you a bit of safety, and it gives the parrot a bit of stability and safety too. All this involves is you offering your parrot a treat to encourage them to step up, or using targeting as a technique to encourage it, and just get them to step onto the branch. Good boy, aren't you smart? You smart man. Another technique you can use is the extended perched arm technique. This involves you gripping the edge of the perch, keeping it perfectly flat, as I'm trying to do here, and then offering a treat. Now I'm going to try and get Mr. Chip to actually get on the perch if you finish preening. Then you just hold it up and he just runs up your arm to get a treat. This gets him used to being on your hand, on your arm. This is also a great technique if your bird likes to shoulder rush, which means always hopping onto your shoulder, as it forces them to go along your hand and your arm. So once your bird is confident being on your hand, inside and outside the cage, one of the simplest ways to get them to step up and reinforce it is through offering a treat. Now Pickle's favourite treat is sunflower seeds, so I offer my hand, say Pickles come, it's just a cue, she takes her treat and she steps up. And this positively reinforces her stepping up and makes it a rewarding experience for her and for me as well, because I know she's happy, I know she's content stepping up. So the idea behind stepping up is parrots feel more confident stepping up rather than down. So we can demonstrate this Pickle. So step up, she's very keen, she gets her treat and she's happy to do it. She does this without having a verbal cue anymore, because she's just so used to doing so, and she just trusts us that much. So once your birds are confident stepping up and they're on your hand, it's very important that when you move around with them, you do it in a nice, calm and slow manner. They need to get used to being on your hand, they need to feel comfortable and secure on it. So when you're moving around, just do it nice and slow and don't make any sudden movements, and they should be quite happy being moved around and walking around with you where you need to take them. You can also continue to reinforce them while they're on your hand, because it's not just about stepping up, it's about them being comfortable on you and feeling that it's a very happy and fun place to be. It's very important once you've trained your birds these techniques that you keep reinforcing them. You can't just train it and then assume your bird's always going to want to step up. It is essentially a trick, just like teaching your bird how to spin or teaching it to wave, that sort of thing. So you need to keep reinforcing it and making sure that they really find it positively reinforcing it to do. You also need to show some respect for your bird. I know that sounds a bit aggressive as a thing to say, but it's really not. Basically all it means is if you change something on your hand, like you put on a ring or you have a bangle or a bracelet, it may make your bird less keen to step up. It can be even as something as simple as nail polish or having some paint from DIY work, which you probably wash off anyway. But make sure that it's consistent, and making sure that your hands are clean, and make sure that your hands aren't changed in any way. So your bird knows it's a safe place to step up to, and there's nothing to worry about. If you're having any difficulties with it, just go back to the earlier steps and keep on reinforcing and making sure it's a positive experience for your bird. So that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you found the tips and tricks on training your bird to step up useful. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. If you could subscribe, that would be awesome too. But for now, it's goodbye from me and Miss Pickles, and I hope you have a great day.